So 11 years ago, I drew this guy. And honestly, you could tell that this was from 11 years ago, from the bloody rain to the wrinkles in the clothes that were like making no sense to the art style. I thought it was time that we went ahead and did a redraw. So hi everyone, I'm Ward, and welcome to my channel Wardrawsalot, and we're going to take an old character and see how I would kind of draw them in my style today. As always in advance, I went ahead and sketched out what I wanted the sketchbook spread to look like. So a lot of the time when I was younger, what I would do instead of making main characters, because I already had Nikki and Rose and I was like not interested in making too many more main ones, I would end up doing these one-off OCs that I would draw in my sketchbook and then just kind of leave them into the sketchbook netherworld until years and years later when I come back to look through the sketchbook and see my old art. Even though a lot of these drawings weren't very great because my skill wasn't that great, I still was really proud of a lot of them. And this drawing actually was one of them, till this day when I think about the drawings that I've done in my sketchbook and think about which ones I really like. This is one of the ones that always pop up in my head. I remember just thinking about how cool he looked and how there was this bloody rain and he looked like super like in the goth emo section of clothing style and choice, and I was like, yo, this looks fucking badass, and I would be like hyping myself up while I was drawing it. I like remember it 100%. I think that's like the cool thing about drawing anything for me, is I remember exactly usually what was going on while I was drawing it. And I can put myself back in those shoes, and especially because it's dated. So that was dated on September 30th, 2011. So I remember I was in class, I think I was like an algebra class or something, and I was just drawing it and then taking out my colored pencils and going ahead and doing whatever I needed to make it look cool. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. But, you know, since I was drawing in algebra class, my algebra grade kind of suffered, I'm not gonna lie, but, you know, it'd be like that. Sometimes, artists gotta make that sacrifice. Now, I kind of want to break down the old drawing just a little bit. So, like I said before, there was, of course, the bloody rain, which was, you know, super edgy because I was, like, the king of edge. So, so of course, that had to be added in there. I also had this umbrella that kind of took on the spiderweb design, and then it also had little red spiders hanging from the ends of the umbrella, or sometimes if it's not like a metal end, it'll have a black nib there to kind of protect someone from poking themselves on it. You guys know what I mean, right? It looked like I also kept the theme of red and black for the umbrella, and you could tell because the stick of the umbrella is red and black striped, and it also has like a black handle along with the red spiders, and it looks like a red jewel slash ornament on top of the umbrella to kind of give it some design aspect. The character himself is, you know, well, I had to stop myself from laughing there. I'm sorry. But the character himself is definitely a product of his time. I drew a lot of characters like in this kind of style. I remember always struggling with art style growing up because I would draw so differently day to day, and it always used to annoy me because I was like, why can't I be consistent? But I'm kind of happy I was never consistent, especially because I never felt like I was stuck inside this box that I had to draw a certain way. And sometimes I feel like trying to find an art style from the beginning is a mistake. Personally, that's what I feel like, is just don't bother with an art style. It'll come along eventually and you'll start to gather whatever drawing information you need and then start drawing it. Just learn how to draw and have fun at first, and then eventually you will get to that style that you want to, which is kind of how it ended up for me. I didn't think I would ever be drawing the way I do today, especially when I look back at my older drawings and I remember how disappointed sometimes I would be because my skill wasn't good enough. But now I'm like, wow, I can't believe I could do this. Anyway, back to the character. He has long black hair that... Actually, no, it's not long black hair. The long part is in front of his face. It's kind of just like it was never kept, I guess. It's fairly short for the most part in the back, but it just covers his eyes, and that was a tactic because I could never draw eyes. So whenever it would be really difficult to draw eyes, I would just do the ultimate artist move of covering it with hair, and you know, just like the other ultimate artist move, which is putting hands in pockets so you don't have to draw the hands. So yeah, that's a common thing in my older art, is you'll almost never see eyes or hands, and that's just, you know, because I didn't have the skill to. And at that time I didn't want to learn how to draw, just wanted to draw, and then eventually I wanted to learn. So it came over time, the want to do better, but at first, like I said before, I was just having fun and drawing. The character is wearing this black choker, which I used to draw all the time on a lot of different characters. I should bring that back. I kind of miss doing that on a lot of the characters. He's also wearing like this, almost like a raincoat slash jacket, because he is technically in the rain. And it looks like the colors are black and purple, or like a dark gray and purple. And the collars match the opposite side of the jacket. And then if you go down, of course, there's like more than one belt, because that was the thing for some reason, is drawing a billion belts on all my characters. I think I was just trying to go off of like all the stuff that I would see online, and it was a lot of like scene emo goth clothing that I would look up all the time, because I really liked it, and I still like it till today. Sometimes I do dress in that kind of fashion whenever I really feel like it, because I really like it. And you could tell that that kind of reflected in the art, is like all that stuff I really liked, and then I would draw a billion belts on the characters, so there's that as well. The pants, I don't think they're regular pants, I think they're shorts. I can't remember, honestly. It does cut off like right around the thigh area, so I can't tell what my thought process was past that. It looks like I just kind of put that in there so it's not just a floating top part, which is good, because you shouldn't ever leave something floating there. You kind of have to ground it on paper so it looks like it makes sense. The anatomy is actually not that bad for this drawing. Usually the other drawings would be, it would be really bad in some drawings. This one isn't too bad. It looks like the only thing that I really messed up was where I put the elbows, and funnily enough, I still struggle with this today. I have to constantly look back at the elbow and where I placed it around the torso area to make sure that the elbow is not too long, and I actually did that with this redraw right here. I erased him, or like his arm, and redid the arm completely, because I was like, wait, the elbow is way too low. I don't want to mess this up again. So I redid it, and then told myself, okay, realistically the elbow would sit probably around halfway at your torso, not at the lower end. So back then I struggled with anatomy, and now I struggled with anatomy, but now I'm at least able to catch it and look back and forth and see where my mistakes lie. So that's nice to see that I've progressed from there. Now, for the redraw, there were some things that I took liberties with, because, you know, it's my own art. I can do that if I want to. And I changed a good amount of stuff around, but it's still the same character, and I think you could tell that, especially when you look at the side-by-sides. We're going to start off with the umbrella. So the first thing I did was made sure that I kept that spiderweb pattern in there, because I felt like that was very crucial to the entire drawing. So I made sure that that stayed the same, but it just looked a little bit better, and followed the, what's it called? The direction of the umbrella. The other one was kind of flat. It didn't look very 3D enough or have it depth, so I made sure I did that here with this one. I also kind of made it a little rectangular or squared off at the edges, so when I put the little spiders there, they would hang a little bit better, and then just kind of look a little cooler, in my opinion, from like the position the OC is standing at, so it looks like they're kind of encircling him in a certain way. I hope you guys know what I mean. I also changed how the spiders look. They're no longer red. Instead, my brother got me these nail stickers from like a month ago, and I don't do my nails, but like I wasn't gonna tell him like, hey, these are nail stickers. I was just happy to get any stickers from him because he thought of me, which is very nice of him. And I used those little spiders to put around the edges of the umbrella where, you know, they were originally supposed to be. And they're not red, they're kind of like a black version of the spider and a glow-in-the-dark version, which I thought would be super cool in, you know, retrospect to the character. And even though it's a little harder to see on the paper because the paper is white and the glow-in-the-dark spider is white, I still think it's a cool design aspect. I did, however, keep the little jewel slash ornament at the top of the umbrella red, and instead I made the bottom handle red too. The umbrella stick is no longer red and black, I just don't like that design anymore, so I went with a fully metallic stick, which I go in later and then use my silver gel pen to fill out. The character himself has a good amount of changes, obviously, from what you could tell. I did make sure the hair was a little bit more detailed, had some lowlights and highlights, and looks a little bit more dimensional, and I still kept it in its original shape, which is kind of like, almost like this short hair bob looking thing going on, with their little ends kind of poking out. I just think that that's a really cute hairstyle, I'm not gonna lie, especially on this character right here. I also didn't put all of their hair in front of their face, mostly because, number one, I have the skill to draw eyes and a face now, and number two, I don't really, you know, like that kind of design tactic anymore. Sometimes I'll use it, but like once in a blue moon, where I think it fits the character correctly, but otherwise, I'm not gonna go ahead and just cover up the whole face, especially because drawing the face is, I think, almost 95% of the time my favorite part of the drawing. One of the biggest differences in this new redraw is the skin tone of the character. I can't remember if for the original drawing it's either probably one of two things. One, which is I didn't know which skin tone to color them, so I just literally left them blank, and I was like, I don't want to mess anything up. Or two, and this is what I think it could have been, is that I wanted the character paper white because I think originally they were a vampire, and, you know, the whole blood rain coming down suited the whole fact that they were a vampire, and I think... what else? I think they were blushing almost like that they were happy that there was blood rain coming down. I don't know, it was really fucking edgy back then, just... I can't even explain myself there because I don't remember the exact thought process, I just remember the emotions I was having while drawing the character. The jacket itself, it does have the one side purple and one side grayish black like it was before. This time though, I lightened up the gray a little bit just because I thought that it would look nice with the character, and instead of the collars being opposite colors on both sides, it matched the side that it was on. So the gray side had the gray collar, and the purple side had the purple collar, and instead of random swirls in the collar itself, I put a spiderweb design to kind of match up everything a little bit more. Finally, I kept the fingerless sleeve part going on just because I still wanted that in there with the design. Sometimes it looks cool if you do it right, and this time I actually think it looks pretty cool with the character, because sometimes it just looks kind of out of place, and I don't want it to be out of place, so yeah. Now I want to talk about the background elements that I did for this redraw, especially because in the first one the background was the blood rain, and I'm not doing that again. I refuse to do that. It's just a little too edgy for me right now because I'm not the same person, but I am the same person, but it's just not me anymore. It's just not. So as you can see for the little portrait version over here, what I did was a spiderweb background because, again, I want to further push the idea of spiderwebs with this character. And I took these sticker rub-on transfer sheets that I found from Dollar Tree at the beginning of last month, I think, and decided to try them out here. The first thing I did was find the sticker that I wanted, which was, of course, the spiders, and I tried the little one first because I was afraid it was gonna mess something up or, like, not work, so I was like, okay, if I just try the smaller one, I won't be as upset as if I was to do a bigger one. Plus, I could at least color over the smaller one and it won't look like a huge mistake would in comparison to like a large one. So yeah, that's always good advice, is test out something small before you test out something big, because then if you mess up your drawing, you're gonna be super angry. I took the kind of like it's not a scraper, it's like a rubber thing. I don't know what the proper name is, but I kind of just pushed the rub-on transfer back and forth until I felt like it stuck on there pretty well, then removed the clear top or coating from the transfer, and I was like, okay, we're set. So I went ahead and did it again with a much larger spider on the top right, and decided to use like this butterfly, almost like it's kind of caught in the web and it's going to get preyed on, which is a little edgy, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I just thought it was a cool design idea. So that there is, I think, a nice little touch to the character and how he looks sweet, but you don't know what kind of person he is, I guess. Kind of like spiders, sometimes they look harmless, but then they're venomous. So I think that that's like a cool thing about this character that I kind of want to expand on in the future more. For the side where he's holding the umbrella, the hardest part was trying to figure out like, what the hell do I do with all this white space around him, because I didn't want to leave it like that. I'm trying to stay away from that as much as possible, even if I just put some bullshit in there. At least it's something that, you know, kind of looks filled up and not empty, because right now it's just looking like a whole bunch of nothing. So what I did is I came in with the same color that I used to color the inside of the web, and I went around the entire space, or like the white space in that area. And at first I was like, I don't know, should I do it, should I not? And then I was like, you know what, just go ahead and do it. And then I was like, you know what, let's put some lyrics in there, because I forgot whose sketchbook tour I watched, but they put lyrics in their sketchbook, and I was like, oh, that's like genius, I really want to try that out. So I put down the itty bitty spider, went up the water spout, and then down came the rain and washed the spider out in the same silver that I used for the stick. And I feel like it kind of filled it up really nicely, and it looks cool to me, especially if it hits certain parts of light when you hold it up to it. So yeah, that was basically the entire character redraw, and I'm super happy with how he came out, to the point where I might just draw him on his own sometimes. I think he's super fucking cute. I love him. I genuinely can't wait to do another one of these in like, I don't know how long, but eventually it'll come soon, and I'm super excited to do it again. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember, I love you. Bye!